ChatGerry, My Cognitive Rebirth After Stroke, A Journey of Neuroplasticity and Lifelong Learning. Number 1416, November 1, 2025. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Stroke. When I suffered my hemorrhagic stroke, I expected decline, not transformation. But as I recovered, something remarkable happened. My thinking grew sharper, my recall deeper, and my creativity stronger. The chairman of the stroke department at Stanford later told me that such post-stroke cognitive improvement is possible, but extremely rare. I became one of those rare cases, and I now understand why. Decades of mental training had unknowingly prepared my brain for this moment. For over 40 years, I studied at 7 colleges across 8 disciplines: mathematics, physics, biomechanics, mechanical and structural engineering, economics and marketing, business management, computer science, and artificial intelligence. Later, I spent 9 years self-studying psychology, and 16 years exploring internal medicine. Each subject trained a different part of my brain, building what I now call cognitive redundancy. Multiple mental pathways capable of performing the same function. In other words, backup circuits like a computer or AI algorithm. If one pathway weakens, another takes over. Like an airplane's redundant safety systems, the brain creates alternative routes through learning and experience. This is neuroplasticity in action. The brain's ability to reorganize, rewire, and adapt. Those who keep learning, thinking deeply, and exploring new fields, build a kind of mental insurance that protects against decline or injury. When my stroke damaged part of my brain, those long dormant circuits, built from decades of cross-disciplinary study, suddenly came alive. It was as if my brain had found a new way to balance itself. The viscoplastic energy of neuroplasticity reconnected my intellectual topology, reactivating everything I had learned but never fully used. Concepts from mathematics, AI, physics, and engineering, topology, stochastic modeling, structural dynamics, resurfaced vividly after decades. I began recalling the theories I studied under Professor Norman Jones, dynamic plasticity, and Professor Patrick Winston, AI, at MIT. Those memories, long stored away, became the very tools I now use for medical research. I realized this was not random recall, it was structured adaptation. The brain behaves like a viscoplastic system. When under impact load, it redistributes energy and reorganizes geometry to find a new equilibrium state. My recovery was not a miracle outside science. It was dynamic systems theory made visible through human neurobiology. The same laws of energy, geometry, and equilibrium that govern steel structures also govern brain neurons. After the stroke, my research reached a new plateau. My thinking became clearer, faster, deeper, and more focused. The integration of VMT, viscoplastic medicine theory, and TDA, topological data analysis, once abstract, now feels natural and alive. I can see biomedical systems moving like living equations, where energy, geometry, and pathophysiology work in perfect rhythm. I used to think intelligence declined with age. Now I know that disciplined curiosity and lifelong learning can renew the mind. My stroke did not end my journey, it transformed it. Neuroplasticity gave me a second life, powered by science, sustained by purpose, and guided by everything I ever learned. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is for educational reference only, and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights belong to the author. Gerald C.